I am. My name is Waddell, and I'm the Perverted Poet Laureate. And I'm like a cross. I'm kind of like Hunter S. Thompson, or so people have said, meets Ralph Steadman, David Shrigley, Richard Brautigan, and Charles Bukowski, all rolled into one, with a bit of David Shrigley thrown in at the end for good measure, who didn't win the Turner Prize but should have. There we go.
How do you express your creativity? And how
normally rudely, in poetry, live gigs, poems set to music, and illustrations, novels, and pamphlets, and in collections.
And how long have you done this?
I think probably all my life, actually. I've been scribbling or drawing, and certainly writing, yeah.
What inspires you, and how do your ideas come about?
My ideas start with a title, which is normally, which can be an overheard, snapped conversation in a pub. Things that people say when they're talking bullshit and they don't realise how brilliant it is. And if you take it out of context, you just get like little snippets of kind of genius. And then I'll start from that and write a poem based on that title or inspiration, and then I'll do a drawing or illustration to go with that.
I think that kind of answers my next question. Where and how do you find you best generate ideas?
Pub is good. Maybe, yeah, well, obviously I don't want to damage myself. I can neither confirm nor deny the rumour that there might be illegality involved sometimes. Who knows? Remind me of the question again. I've forgotten.
Where and how do you find you best generate ideas? I'll go to the next one.
Okay.
What is your process of idea generation and development, or how do you take an idea and turn it into a final product?
Well, with writing it's fairly easy. You take the idea and then you write it. Then you've got to work out how you're going to get it across to the public, which is either in a traditional book format or pamphlet with an illustration going with it, or you turn it into a greeting card with a poem inside, or you get your poems and you make them into lucky dips, and charge people for them, key rings, fridge magnets, anything that will get close to people and make them chuckle.
How and where do you source your materials, and what sort of materials do you use?
Well, paper for writing on, from my local stationers. Picture poems is kind of like on a kind of foam board that I go to printers, get that, and then glue it on top of that. Fridge magnets I do off the internet, as I do the cards. CDs for the spoken word set to music is fairly obvious. Pamphlets, again, go to the local printers, get it printed up, distribute it. T-shirts, and I do prints as well.
Can you name or describe some challenges you face when creating, writing, printing, drawing, etc.?
Oh, yes. Organisation is hell. That's the challenge.
What drives you to persist and persevere when facing these challenges?
Well, I mean, it's like breathing, isn't it? I mean, if you stop breathing, then that's it. So you've got to do what you've got to do if it's what makes you tick.
What would you say is your best piece of work so far, and why?
My hit poem is called A Fistful of Assholes, and that shot to the top of the poem parade and enabled me to fly around the world in my poetry jet. And so what was the rest of the question?
And why?
And why was it? Why was it?
Why was your favourite?
Because of mainly actually because of the reactions from audiences to that particular poem.
And what inspired you to create this?
Well, what inspired me about A Fistful of Assholes? Well, it's kind of a play on words. If you've never seen the film A Fistful of Dollars, I mean that's where it kind of like started off from. But it was an actual fact, a friend of mine, we were drunk in a pub and he used the phrase a fistful of assholes, and I wrote that down in my little book, went home, wrote a poem about it.
How do you promote your work?
Really, really badly. Luckily I have a mate who's a total whiz who can do stuff, but I'm really bad at promoting myself, and you'll probably find out that certainly a lot of artists, maybe designers are different, but a lot of artists are pretty terrible at promoting themselves.
How do you manage your time when writing and printing?
It's funny, you need to have some time taken away from you in order to value the time that you've got. So it's quite good to have something to rub up and down against, no pun intended, in terms of something to take away from your time. So, I do other things to earn money because I don't earn enough to live on through doing this. So, you have to just kind of like try and find a balance, but make use of the time you got, really, yeah.
What advice or message can you give to other creatives, designers, writers, poets, etc.?
Well, do you know what? The best bit of advice that I ever heard was years ago. I saw it was on television on a news programme, and it was Ian Banks, rest his soul, right, who recently died, the fantastic writer, and somebody shoved the camera in his face and said, what advice would you give for aspiring writers? And he gave the best advice in the world. He said, just do it. That's it. No excuses, don't procrastinate, don't wait for the right time, just do it. Just keep writing, and you'll probably be crap when you start off, but if you keep going and persevering, then you'll probably get there, at least to the level you're happy with, hopefully. So just do it. Don't fast.
Is there anything else you want to say, Sidney?
Don't arrest me.